everybody. So today we are going to be doing a quick video about putting in a bit of brown glaze during the yellow underpainting phase to just add a bit of oomph. So the painting next to me is what I'll be talking about. This is actually the demo painting for the class that I am teaching in October. If you are watching this and it's not October anymore, I'm going to jump right into the video and you can just speed ahead to that part. But if you are interested, I am doing a online class October 2025. And sign up is, all the information is below in the description. Go and check it out more. We're going to be doing a painting from start to finish. I'm going to be talking in depth all about the Mische technique, 3-color underpainting version that I paint in. I'm going to be giving you all sorts of crazy tips on how to do a reference photo, how to do models, lighting, reference images, how to draw it, how to paint it, how to do all the steps for the underpainting, as well as how to do all of the steps for the color glazing. So we're going to pack a lot in. It starts on October 17th, a Friday, and it goes until November 7th. So it is 4 classes on Fridays, 12 to 2 p.m. Pacific time. So I would love to see you there. If you are interested, definitely click on the link and get the information in more detail. And I have done a couple videos on this more or less before, but it's always worth kind of talking about when and why to do this kind of brown shadow glaze at this particular step in the underpainting process. The more I do it, the more I am kind of in love with it. And I tell myself I don't do it on every painting, but I think I do it on every painting now. It's not necessary, but it really does add drama. And there's an ease to getting some darker shades later on in the process when you're doing color if this is already in there, because when you put the blue on top of this, there is a really lovely kind of purple color that happens, and that purple is a great base for a lot of shadow that's going to be coming later on. So now without further ado, I'm going to jump into the video. I hope you enjoy it. All right, so I like to do this with either a burnt umber or some color very similar to that. And my glazing medium, as always, is my Liquid Original, which I love. So we're just going to do this really, just sped up, and I'm just going to kind of talk through what's going on. So I'm looking, you can see kind of my reference image roughly right there, right? So I'm just looking at what the darkest darks are here. I have found over the years that if I'm doing kind of the scenic background to something, having a bit of this brown in there makes those kind of dark, kind of purplish grays much easier to kind of render once I'm doing the color glaze in the next, when I get there. And same thing. So anything that's going to be glazed dark, I have videos on how to glaze bright colors and dark colors. Anything that's going to be glazed kind of dark, this is going to really benefit you. Because again, what's happening here is, even though, I'm adding this in this stage, I'm going to put the blue glaze on top of it, which you'll see once I'm done here. And then this brown and that blue is going to make a really nice gray purple. And that gray purple is such a nice color, and kind of exactly what you need as a great base for glazing shadow and darkness. So that's really what I'm doing. I'm just kind of seeing, looking at my reference image, always looking at my reference image, and getting into where the shadows are the strongest. And I think what's really helpful to kind of think through is, where is like the white egg tempera or casein is your brightest brights, right? And that's how we're building the image. And this, of course, is exactly how you do pretty much any other painting you would ever do, is this is the shadow, you know? And so this shouldn't be, it's not rocket science. It's pretty straightforward. You're just kind of putting in that shadow now as a little bit of an aid. I think I, for a long time, tried to be kind of a purist about this and was just like, I'm not putting in shadow until, I do the color, which is fine, but I really started to do this, like I said, like every single time, because it really does make a difference. I think, let me put it this way. I think partially because my own preference for color is, I like a complex dark shadow. And this really helps that, it really helps get that kind of bit of drama that I like in my paintings. And so I'm cutting down my efforts here later on by just doing this here. And, because glazing darkness, you can't just do in one or two goes. You really got to build that up over a couple, like several glazes, just to kind of make it a luminous darkness, because you don't want to just glaze on something that's, a dark, thick color and you're just going to eradicate all the hard work you've just done. Even the shadows have to be luminous. Even the darks have to be glowing, or why bother doing this technique, right? So there's easier ways to do it than this. So if you want that kind of, luminosity in your shadows, this is a really good, little extra step that I have found to be, kind of pays its dividends later on. So again, like here in the figure, I'm not doing, I'm doing some of the shadow, not all of the shadow. It's not like I'm just going in and doing all of the shadow, right? Like I'm doing the darkest parts of the shadow. And I'm leaving that beautiful mid-tone that's building up to be kind of most of it. And because in the image, most of this is really kind of coming through, like the light is on one side and there's shadow on the other, right? So it's kind of an easy way to just feel out where everything is. But, you're really looking you're looking at the darkest parts that get the brown, not just everything that's shadow. Right? So you can kind of see there what happens. And I think that looks amazing, right? And so I'm going to just do the blue glaze on here just so you guys can see what it looks like. I love this radiant turquoise. It's my favorite thing to glaze with. It's a nice one because you don't have to mix it. You can just do any kind of dark blue really and mix a bunch of white into it and you get a similar color. I mean, from, what the ultramarine or all these other things make different blues, right? And so you can kind of play with what those look like for what kind of color you want to be in the underpainting. I have a whole video on that too, but I find this to kind of work for me for, most of my stuff. And so I'm just kind of laying it on there. You can see I got kind of a big glop there on the side, so I'm going to thin that out and kind of make sure it's all even throughout. But, any of these color glazes go on the whole thing. And so you can see that brown is now this really cool, weird, plummy, dusty purple color. And that is nice when you're going in to do the colors. It's a great undercolor for all of your color glazes for the shadow. And I love what it looks like. And so what's going to happen next is I'm going to just go in with the white on top of the highlights again, and I'll be ready for color. So you can see kind of how, it all gets very subtle. It all gets very gray. This is kind of what you've been working for here in the last several steps of this Mische technique underpainting. And, you know, there's the highlights, there's the shadows, there's all those beautiful luminous grays. And yeah, chef's kiss, right? So thanks for watching this. Like, subscribe, share, check out my class. Thank you so much. Bye.